Before we get into the episode, I am thrilled to announce that the EntreMD Business School is open for enrollment. The EntreMD Business School is the only school of its kind for physicians who want to build 6, 7, and multiple 7-figure businesses. Over the last 2 years, we have had hundreds of doctors go through the school with unbelievable results. Some of them run brands, some of them run private practices, some of them are coaches, some have other kinds of service-based businesses or product-based businesses. And we've had people come in and cross the 6-figure milestone, cross the 7-figure milestone, cross the multiple 7-figure milestone. You will be in a place where you'll get the coaching, the community, the accountability that you need to thrive as an entrepreneur, especially in the times that we're in. So maybe you've been following me for a while. Maybe you've been getting so much out of the EntreMD podcast and you've been wondering, how can I work with Dr. Una and the community more? Well, this is your chance. Come join us in the EntreMD Business School. It is application only. So go to entremd.com/business to turn in your application. I cannot tell you how many doctors have made statements like this. I recovered my investment in the first week. I recovered my investment in my bank account in the first 90 days. This is the best investment I've made in myself ever. I want you to have that kind of story, not just a story of building a great business that serves a lot and earns a lot, but having a business that gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. So don't wait any longer. entremd.com/business. And now for the episode. A successful life is made up. Like when I say made up, it doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's less real. It just means you're deciding, well, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to work towards. This is the decision I'm making. These are the goals I'm setting with the information that I have right now. When I know better, I'll set bigger. But you want to own something. You cannot really hit a target you haven't defined. It's like basketball game. Where's the basket? Oh, we don't know. Like there's no way to score, right? And there's no way to score if we don't define it. Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the EntreMD podcast. And as always, I am super pumped to be in your ears. Today, we are going to be looking at something that will be a total game changer for you. So have you ever wondered why you make to-do list after to-do list and there's certain items on your to-do list that have been there for weeks, sometimes months, sometimes years, and you've never quite been able to bring yourself to do them? Or there's this new phase in your business. Maybe you're like, this is the year we cross the 7-figure mark, or this is the year we break into the multiple 7-figure mark, and you just, again, haven't been able to bring yourself to do what is required to pull that off, even though you know what it is, right? And this is something that is really near and dear to my heart because strategy is my jam. Like my brain really does work that way, where I can look at something that looks complicated and I can see the pathways to get out of it. I can see like, okay, this business looks like it's struggling and all of these things. I can see the pathway to take the business to the other side where there's more revenue, there's more profits, there's a better team. The owner is creating true freedom and all of that. But I have noticed that one of the things that will cripple any strategy is the mindset, is the belief, is those intangible things. And that is why I spend a lot of time talking about it, because it's almost like your strategy is like, your Ferrari with, the brand new engine and all of those things. But your mindset, your belief system, those make up the tires. And it doesn't matter how good the engine is. If the tires don't work, you're not going anywhere, right? And so today I want us to talk about the thing that stops you the most, and really is that you don't believe. You can't quite see it. It's not something that is, tangible almost. And when I say tangible, I mean in your mind, right? It's like, of course, this is where we're going. It may take me a minute. It may take me a while. It'll take a lot of effort, but this is inevitable. And what a beauty, right? To be in a position where the goals that you've set for your business, the vision you see for your business the thought of it is almost like an operating system. Like you can see it. You believe it, it's inevitable, it will require stuff for you. You realize that you'll have to be uncomfortable to pull it off, but you're willing to do the work. because you know it's inevitable. And being in that place is such a magical place. On the flip side, not being in that space puts you in a place where you'll understand the statement I make where I say the undisciplined mind is an idiot, right? Like, because it will convince you you're not the kind of person who can do that. It will convince you that you are not able to do that. It will convince you that nothing is working. It will cripple you. Right? But it doesn't have to be that way. And so we're going to look at that today. Okay. So after this episode, you will be able to start a process where you can start working on your belief system. You have a habit around it. And so each and every day you can see your vision clearer and clearer, and it becomes more real and more real. And you see yourself as the kind of person who can pull this off, and you pull it off. Now, I've seen this time and time and time again in the EntreMD Business School where, you know, somebody would come in and they either deciding like, I want to create hyper growth, or, you know, like I want to create this big milestone, and nothing clicks really like on a big scale until that they come to that point where I've worked on the belief and I believe. I've worked on the mindset, and my mindset is where it needs to be. So let's talk about that. There's a tool that we have, and it's something that I have learned to use and use and use over the last decade and a half that I've been an entrepreneur, and that is imagination or visualization. Some people choose to think it's woo-woo, but if you think about it, we all have that, right? Like, think about what you do when you're worrying. When you're worrying, you are using your imagination to paint a picture of a future you don't want. And you sit in it long enough till your heart is racing, till you start taking actions that line up with the internal picture that you have. That's visualization. That's imagination. So when we do things by default, they tend to be like what everything else that's a default is, right? They're weeds, right? If you get a new piece of land and, you know, like you wanted to make it a farm, you make it a beautiful garden, well, that requires intention. But if you show up in a land and there's no, you know, it's not a garden, it's just full of weeds, you know, that's just the default. Somebody left it, and that's why it's like that. Now, with our imagination, with our minds and all of that, when we leave it to its devices, all that comes up will be weeds, things we do not want. But if we can apply a little intention, then it's amazing what our minds will do for us, right? So if it's that powerful when it comes to worry and all of that, imagine how powerful it will be if you intentionally use it. Okay. So the tool here is the imagination. All right. And I'm going to walk you through some things you can do. So first of all, this will require work. If, you know, for the doctors in EntreMD Business School, we do this a lot. And so it's a habit they're building over time, but you have to clearly articulate where it is you're trying to go. Like, so for instance, for your business, what is your goal for your business? How much revenue do you want to bring in? How much profit do you want to bring in? What kind of team do you want to have? How do you want, you know, like your clients to think about your patients? How do you want them to think about you, right? What is your positioning in the marketplace? You know, what kind of time off are you able to take because you have the processes and the team in place? And so, you know, your business is, you're learning to build a business that is working without you. Like, and in different phases of business, your goals will be different. Like, but what are they? A lot of times we have this vague idea of what we could want. The problem with that is a vague idea does not really trigger your imagination in the way you need it to. It just doesn't, right? And so think of it this way, like, what is it that I truly want? You might say, well, what if I don't set it right? What if I make a mistake? Guys, a successful life is made up. Like, when I say made up, it doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's less real. It just means you're deciding, well, this is what I want, and this is what I'm going to work towards. This is the decision I'm making. These are the goals I'm setting with the information that I have right now. When I know better, I'll set bigger. But you want to own something. You cannot really hit a target you haven't defined. It's like basketball game. Where's the basket? Oh, we don't know. Like, there's no way to score, right? And there's no way to score if we don't define it, right? And so we define it as best as we can for the phase of, you know, entrepreneurship we're in. And as we get better, we will define it better. And that's okay. Okay. So that's the first thing. You want to clearly articulate, like, where is it that I'm going? Own something. And I have had years where I had set goals, and by June, I had accomplished it. I have mentees I've been talking with, and, you know, it's, you know, like second month in the year, they've accomplished their goals. I'm like, well, apparently you set them too little. So now it's time to set new goals. And so I want you to see it as this fluid thing. There's no such thing as mistakes. You set the best thing and you keep it moving. So that's number one. Number two is, now that you set the goal, these are like numbers, milestones, and things like that. Now you want to paint a picture in your mind. What does that look like? Right? And you want to almost, for want of a better phrase, you want to travel there. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So let's say you said, my goal for this year is I want to hit 2 million in revenue, right? And I want to build a solid team so that we're able to deliver at the highest level, even though we've multiplied the number of clients that we have. I want to build processes and systems to create the best customer experience. I want to be able to take 2 vacations a year with my family. I've worked so hard on my business all these years. I want to start leaning into spending more time with my family, leaving a legacy for my family as well. A legacy of memories, a legacy of, like finances, all of that. Okay. A legacy of the know-how, right? Because in the EntreMD world, we're not just going to give our kids finances. We're going to give them the skills that creates finances. Like, that's the real wealth. That's the portable wealth. So they can go on and recreate whatever they need to recreate. So let's say those are my goals. Okay. Now, a picture would look like traveling to that place where it is already a reality and kind of looking around. Okay. So what that would look like is, okay, I'm looking at my profit and loss statement. I'm seeing 2 million in revenue as the gross collections for the year. And, because of that, I'm also saying that I was able to pay my team well. I'm able to maybe look at the 401k that I set up for my team and all the money that's going to my team. I'm able to look at what my take home pay was. I'm able to look at what that now means, how much of it I can invest, how much of it I can give away, because I've always wanted to be a philanthropist. See the smiles on the faces of the people I'm able to be a gift to. I would look at my team, the positions that are filled. So maybe I have that practice administrator, I have that business manager, and I have the teams under them. And I see the team meetings, they're being run well. My team is happy. They work hard when they're work. They play hard when they're not at work. I have a great retention rate among my team members. So they're there for the long haul. My team has been activated. And so not only are they just doing tasks, but they're also thinking, they're also bringing their gifts and their talents to the business. And so the business is so much better and bigger and functioning at is very innovative, because it's not just my thinking, it's my thinking, my team's thinking, all of that going on. And, our processes are working well. The places where automations are required, that's working. The places where the human touch is required, that's working. The processes are documented. So when we bring new people on, our onboarding process is just amazing, right? Because it's all outlined. I think about, then I went to Mexico on vacation for the first vacation, which we did in the second quarter of the year. And then we spent Christmas in Jamaica, and it was absolutely amazing. And I'm thinking of how I feel, the peace I feel, because I have such a great team. I think about, the time that, like me and my family laughing and giggling and having such a great time. I think about all of those things. Maybe, I hit the $2 million mark. So maybe the next year I'm thinking like, wow, then I got on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies. Like, you go there and you be there. You might say, oh, that's weird. Why would I do that? That's not, like scientific. That's not. So hear me. We do this anyway. The problem is we do it by default. Now is an opportunity for us to start doing it intentionally. Rather than spending all this time in a picture we don't want, we can now spend our time in a picture we do want. Right? And so I want you to think about it that way. Okay. So it's doing that. It's painting that picture. All right. It'll take you a moment. It may feel weird. You're like, this is what kids do. No, this is what wildly successful entrepreneurs do. Even amongst the champion level golfers, right? They spend time visualizing their shots. Basketball players in the NBA, they have sessions where they'll sit for hours doing 2-pointers in their minds, doing 3-pointers in their minds. If the champion level athletes are doing it, then best believe the champion level entrepreneurs are doing it, which means you, the champion level entrepreneur, should be doing it too, right? So that's the second thing, is really to paint that picture. And then the third thing is to immerse yourself in that picture. Seeing it once is not enough, right? Seeing it once is not enough. So what does this look like? It looks like For some people, they can write out this picture and they read it out loud every day, standing in front of the mirror, that this is what we did. This is how I show up. This is what kind of entrepreneur I am. Some people would write it out every day, right? I'm giving you options so you can pick what works for you. Some people will write it out every day. Some other people would record it and play it every day so they can hear it. Like, this is who you are. This is the kind of business you built. This is the way you show up as an entrepreneur, and all of those kind of things. You can do vision boards. You can do all kinds of things, right? But the idea is you want to immerse yourself in this picture until it is more real to you than the picture of it not becoming a reality, right? Now, I have done some version of this, some kind of way, every day for years. And it's unbelievable what will happen if you can just do this. Okay. Right. So doing this work makes you a creator of your masterpiece life, where life no longer happens to you. It's not like whatever life brings you take. It puts you back in control. Not doing this puts you in a place where you're just a recipient of whatever life throws your way, like you're a boat on the sea, whichever way the waves take you to, right? And so, putting this in place is almost like giving your boat a rudder. Like, no, this is the way you're going. Like, this is the direction we're going in. So the waves may come and they may shake us, but they're not taking us off track because we know exactly where we're going. And that's what I want for you. Okay. So this is your homework. Okay. Your homework is to block off some time. It may be 20 minutes for you to sit and for you to do these three things. Define where it is you're trying to go, paint the picture, and create whatever way you would immerse yourself. So whether that's whether you're the writer, whether you're the reader, whether you're the listener, like whatever it is you're going to do, whether you're the vision board person, pick whatever that is, schedule in your calendar. This is what I do every day. And I kid you not, this will radically change your business. So I'll give you two examples. There was a doctor in the EntreMD Business School who said, I had stopped setting goals. I've been in business for longer than a decade. I stopped setting goals, financial goals for my business because I wasn't hitting them. And so this time, in the school, we set goals quarterly and all of those things. So she's like, I set a goal. It was bigger than anything I'd ever done. And I spent a month working on believing, which is what we're talking about here. Spent a month working on believing. And she was like, two things happened. The first thing that happened is I crushed those goals for that quarter, which is fantastic, right? And this was her very first quarter in the EntreMD Business School. And then the second thing is that I upgraded my identity, and now I identify as the person who sets and crushes financial goals. I mean, think about that. Crazy. Okay. So super crazy. And then there's another doctor who, in the beginning, she's like, I don't know if I can do this. This is overwhelming and all of those things. But she did this work. She would stand in the mirror every day and talk about her goals and talk about who she was and sit in it. And watching her transformation, the entire school has watched her transformation. It is such a beautiful thing to see. Where does it start from? Believing. Because when you get to this place, you have the right mindset, the right belief system, and then you have the right strategy. You truly become unstoppable. And that's what I want for you. So just think about it, right? 3 months from now, so 90 days from now, 6 months from now, you could be in a position where everything is different because you see differently, your outlook is different, the way you perceive yourself is different, the kind of goals you can accomplish is just different, and you're taking actions, maybe even say, shoot, I should be in the EntreMD Business School, right? Where all of these things are happening, and you step away from the doubt like, oh, this won't work for me or anything, because your goals, your things are inevitable, and you're like, yes, and I need the support of the school, like whatever it is. This could be your reality, and you could end up having your best 90 days, your best 6 months. This year could end up being your absolute best year yet if you do the work, right? So I'm inviting you to go all in, to do this and create a season in business that is a masterpiece you created, okay? So this episode, make sure you share it with another doctor in your world, and I will see you on the next episode of the EntreMD Podcast.